This is a fantastic recipe for a Parmesan encrusted boneless pork chop, and it's got fennel Alfredo on the side. It tastes kind of like fettuccine Alfredo, but with a hint of fennel taste, but it's actually made with fennel bulbs. If you've never been a fan of the fennel taste or fennel seeds, you'll be pleasantly surprised by how mild and subtle the fresh fennel bulbs are in this cheesy casserole with the cream and the thyme. All that you need to make this complete meal for 3 to 4 people is 1/2 cup of mozzarella cheese, a cup of Parmesan cheese, 4 sprigs of thyme, 2 cloves of garlic, 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, 2 bulbs of fennel, yellow and green zucchini, about a handful of cherry tomatoes, olive oil, salt and pepper, and cooking spray. For the fennel Alfredo, you can use a standard 9x12 casserole or individual ones like I'm using. And I'm only cooking 3 boneless pork chops, but this recipe is definitely enough for at least 4. Wash and dry all the vegetables thoroughly. Spray the inside of the casseroles that you're using. Now, all of the parts of fennel are edible, either raw or cooked. I'm going to use these ferny parts, which could be minced and used as herbs. I'm just going to use them as a garnish. Okay, so we're just going to use the white bulbs. So I'm going to cut off the bottom, and these stalks on the top are kind of stringy, so they're good for using in soups or stock, but not for this recipe. Cut the bulbs in half and remove the core, although these are edible as well. Cut the bulbs into fourths and very coarsely into 1/2 inch pieces. Pull the leaves off of 2 sprigs of thyme and mince them very finely for the fennel casserole. For medium-high heat, add 2 teaspoons of vegetable or canola oil, no more, or the end result will be greasy and separate the cheeses. Then add the minced thyme and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, stirring occasionally for approximately 10 minutes until the fennel pieces are tender. While the fennel is cooking, mince 2 cloves of garlic very finely for the zucchini. Slice the zucchini in half lengthwise and then slice in 1/4 inch pieces. Once the fennel is tender and just slightly brown, pour in 1/2 cup of the heavy whipping cream. Once the cream begins to boil, remove from the burner and add the mozzarella cheese. Line a baking sheet with aluminum foil, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, the 2 minced garlic cloves, and coat the zucchini well. You can do this in a separate bowl if you'd like. I'm just trying to cut down on my cleaning time. Then add the cherry tomatoes cut in half with the cut side down and arrange everything in a single layer. Now that the fennel and cheese mixture is this wonderful consistency, it's ready to go in your casserole or the separate casserole dishes. And I'm topping mine with just a little bit more of both cheeses, just because I don't mind the extra fat and I want it cheesier. Then bake all of this in a preheated 450-degree oven for about 10 minutes. And while they're in the oven, we're going to make the pork chops on the stove. For the Parmesan crust, mix 1 teaspoon of olive oil with 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. Remove the leaves from the other 2 sprigs of thyme, mince well, and stir into the bowl and set aside. Okay, pour approximately 1 teaspoon of olive oil in an oven-proof skillet and heat to medium-high. Brown one side of the pork chops for 4 to 5 minutes, and then turn them over and spoon the Parmesan mixture over each and remove from the stove. The vegetables should be done by now, so remove them from the oven and place the pork chops in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes until lightly brown and the internal temperature is 170 degrees Fahrenheit. And cover the vegetables to keep them warm. My thermometer has reached 170 degrees, so I'm taking the pork chops out of the oven and loosely covering them with foil so they can rest for 5 minutes and redistribute the inner juices. Okay, and the pork chops have a crispy Parmesan crust. The fennel casserole is browned, the zucchini is tender, and I'm garnishing with a Parmesan shaving, the fennel ferns, thyme sprigs on the pork chops, and a Parmesan shaving on the vegetables. The pork is tender, no longer pink inside, and oh, that is delicious. The casserole's cheesy. Oh. And the zucchini is perfectly tender with just a slight taste of garlic. It's just perfect.
This whole meal is just absolutely delicious.
Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe.